Now we will discuss what is simple and compound interest. So simple interest occurs when interest is not earned on interest. So interest over here is just on the principal amount, whereas compound interest occurs when interest is earned on prior period's interest. So over here you do get interest on interest. Now we will discuss both simple and compound interest, but later on majority of your questions by default will be of compound interest. The reason being that most financial contracts are actually based on compound interest. So the calculations that you will be doing later on will be based on the concept of compound interest, but you need to be clear about the difference between simple and compound interest. So over here is an example. So for an illustration, assume that you plan to deposit 100 in a bank that pays a guaranteed 5% simple interest each year. How much would you have at the end of year 5? So if you deposit 100 right now, so you're going to deposit the 100 right now at time 0 and you will get an interest of 5%. That means on the first year you will get an interest. So we're going to multiply this by 5%, which is equal to 5. So you will get an interest of 5 over here. Now because this is simple interest, next year once you get interest, you will get it on the 100 amount only. Okay, I'm going to repeat this. So at time 0 you have 100. On this 100 you get a 5% interest, so you get 5 rupees of interest. Now your account has 105 rupees, 100 plus 5 interest. So your account balance is 105. But instead of getting interest on this 105, you will get it only on the principal amount, even in the next year. So even in the next year you will get interest on the 100 amount only, which is 5. Your account balance will be now 110, but again you will get interest only on the original 100. So you will get an interest of 5 again, and similarly so on for the next years. 115 will be your amount, and in 115 5 is added, so this will be 120, and over here it will be 125. So over here this 100 represents present value. You call this your present value, and this 125 actually represents your future value because it's a value you will get in the future. Wait, let me just take this over here. Now in simple interest, so this is clear. What does it mean? That you will get interest only on the original amount and there is no interest on interest. Now we will look at the concept of compound interest. So it's going to be the same question. Okay, let me just go ahead. Now for an illustration, assume that you plan to deposit 100 in a bank that pays a guaranteed 5%, but now compound interest each year. How much would you have at the end of year 5? Now again, deposit 100. And you want to find out how much will you have at the end of 5 years. So what is the future value? The first year interest will be 5. 100 multiplied by 5%. So you will have 105 in your account. So the first year is going to be the same. But now in compound interest, you get interest on interest. So instead of getting interest on 100, you will get interest on 105 over here. So 105 multiplied by 5%. This time your interest amount will be 5.25. Now 105 you will add 5.25, so your account balance will be 110.25. 0.25. Again, you will not get interest on this 100, neither you will get it on this 105. Now your account has 110.25 at the end of the second year. So at the end of the second year, you have this much amount. From the start of the third year till the end of the third year, you will get interest on this 110.25. So 110.25 multiplied by 5% will be 5.51. So your account will be 115.76. Similarly, now you will get interest on this 115.76%. So 115.76% multiplied by 5% will be 5.79. 115 plus 5.79 will give you 121.55. 121.55 multiplied by 5% will give you 6.08. This is the interest of the fifth year, and your last amount will be 127.63. So in simple interest, you got an amount of 125. That was the value you were getting at the end of the 5 years. Wait. Okay. Also in simple interest, you were getting an interest of 5 every time. So there was 5, 5, 5 and 5. Over here you will, in simple interest, you get the same interest every year, because in this case your principal amount remains the same. So every time you get interest on this 100 only. That's why 125 was your total amount at the end of the fifth year. Whereas in compound interest, you get interest on interest. So in 105, you get an interest of 5%. Your account will be 105. Now you will get interest on this 105, so that will be 5.25, and your account will be 110.25. Then next year you will get interest on this 110.25. Similarly, 115, then 121. So each time your principal amount is changing with time. Now this was the illustration of simple and compound interest on a timeline. Next we are going to introduce a formula for it. So let's go ahead. For simple interest, we have this formula. Over here, FV represents future value. So what is future value? It is the value later on in the timeline. So if you go back to your timeline, I'm going to erase everything. This 100 over here is the present value because it is in time 0. And this FV over here represents future value. Not only the value at the end of fifth year, even the value at the end of first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, these all represent future values. Okay, I made the circle incorrectly. The present value was 100. The future value 1 year later is 105. The future value 2 years later is 110.25. The future value 3 years later is 115.76, and so on. So present value just means right now at time 0. So FV is future value, PV is present value, R is the interest rate, and N is the number of periods. So now if we just simply apply the formula, The present value was 100, 5% was the interest rate. So you can write 5% or 0.05, and n was 5. So if you multiply all of them, 125 is the future value that you will get over here. So this is your future value formula if you're using simple interest. And similarly, you can use a formula for compound interest. Again, FP is again future value, PV is present value, R is the interest rate, and N is the number of periods. Over here you have 100, 1, then the R will be 5% and N is 5. N over here is in power. So if you calculate this, you get 127.63. This is the future value for compound interest, and this is the future value for simple interest, like you already calculated it yourself as well. Note how the answer for compound interest is actually more than the answer you're getting for simple interest, because over here in compound interest you're getting interest on interest, so you're getting more interest.